Welcome, O Ramadan.
Radio Sultanate of Oman 90.4 and the Sultan Qaboos Center for Islamic Culture presents Reaching Out Through Dialogue. Listen and get involved. It is a great experience for you personally. It would really create a balance on each and every one of us in this holy month of Ramadan.
Stand up.
Reaching Out Through Dialogue. Presented by Hatim Harif Al Abdussalam.
Charity.
Directed by Matloob Ayel Al Wahabi. Reaching Out Through Dialogue. A special in this holy month of Ramadan. Here on 90.4 FM.
For the pleasure of
Dear listeners, Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Kareem. May Almighty Allah have His blessings on all of you in this holy month of Ramadan. I'm Hatim Al-Absalam. I'll be taking you through today's topic, the role of media. Please join me in welcoming our dearest guest, Mr. Ahmed Al-Mata'ni. Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed.
Walaikum salam.
How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Hope everything is alright.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Alhamdulillah.
Good.
Rabbil Alameen. Okay, we come across the term media every now and then, and it has become a crucial element that affects our lives. So, what is media? Or in other words, give us a proper definition.
Yeah. First of all, this is a very interesting topic and a very sensitive topic at the same time. Whenever you talk about media, there are a lot of things should be involved. And before talking about the definition of media, I'd like to explain some of the terms related to that thing. First of all, media is a plural form for medium. Most of the time we use it in the plural form, but nowadays we're trying to use the media in the both forms, actually, the plural and the singular form. So you can say media is or media are.
Okay.
This is when it comes to what the mass media, but other than that, you should make the distinction between medium and media.
Media.
Now back to your question, which is the definition of media. Media is sort of means or channels of communication that reach or influence people in a wide range in our life. So different aspects of life. So that's the meaning of media.
Okay. Before we go to the next question, I just forgot to introduce you properly to our listeners. Ahmed is in the education business. He is assistant head of section of the English language in one of the private colleges in Oman. Okay, let's go now to the next question. Is media a new phenomenon, or was it there in the past?
Well, it's not. Actually, media is only changing nowadays. Okay, but it's a very old phenomenon. And talking about the past, okay, you'll find that people were using media, but in a different way. Let's talk about the way they used to use media. They used to send people to communicate and things like that.
So always news was important.
Exactly.
People wanted to know what is going on.
Yeah, they were using certain birds in order to spread the news between two cities and so on. So that was also something commonly used in the past. Nowadays, okay, we are having different ways or different channels of communication. So it's not a new phenomenon, actually.
Okay. Now, as you said that media comes in different forms, could you shed some light on that?
Well, when we talk about the types of media, we usually talk about two types. The first one is the very traditional type, and the other one is the new types of media. Now, when we talk about the traditional types of media, we're talking about newspaper, we're talking about magazines, we talk about television, radio, and direct mails, like sending, letters and so on. But if you talk about the new form of media, now we are having them in websites, using technology. We have emails and so on. So that's, a kind of a change, in the form of media nowadays.
Okay. So every now and then something new comes up, and we have to cope with it.
Exactly. Like nowadays, we have text messaging. It's one of the forms of media. People send, a lot of messages to people to advertise or to promote for something. So it is one of the ways.
Or to even keep in touch.
Yeah.
Now you have some services on the phones that you can chat with other groups at the same time. All of you can chat at the same time.
Exactly. And now you get to know the news, the updated, news happening in the world through text messages.
So you don't need to watch TV.
Exactly. So that was, an old form. Now we are using a lot of technological terms or technological tools to cope with what's happening, in the world.
For sure, we're living in an age of speed and technology. And technology is advancing so fast, and media is following the same path. So how important is media to our lives?
It's a very essential thing, in our life. I think, we cannot live without media nowadays because it touches all our aspects of life, whether we like it or not. Let's, talk about some examples. Now, when you talk about education, media is playing a very important role in educating people. That could be, something to do with the school, the studying, and so on, or what's happening in the other parts of the world.
Okay.
So it's a source of knowledge. It's a source of education. And nowadays, people get to know a lot of things about different things happening in the world and different fields of life or fields of study through media. Okay, in the past, for example, we used to travel a lot, okay, in order to get education. Nowadays,
you travel for months on a camel just to get a specific knowledge.
Exactly. Let's talk about one example. For example, in the past, we used to travel, as you were saying, okay, and in order to get one piece of information, okay, and even like in our days, like in the past, we used to learn a lot of things, through books, okay. Nowadays, with the advancement of technology and media, you can learn about all these things through media. You can watch it.
Just a click of a button, and you can get all the information that you need.
Yes, exactly. So it's a very crucial, element in our life. So this is, about education. Now, if we talk about, the other aspect, people like to talk most of the time, which is entertainment. Media is also another tool to entertain people.
Okay.
We have now different forms of entertainment, through media. TV shows, songs, and movies. So media is really covering all these ways of entertainment, okay, and people prefer to use media to entertain themselves in different ways. So this is another aspect.
And I think our lives have become very stressful, and that entertainment has become very important for us to release a bit of that pressure.
Absolutely correct. And as you were saying, now we are on the go. We are very busy, up to our ears, and with this life, and always we are under the pressure, under the impact of this busy life. So media is really releasing, this kind of a pressure, by providing varieties of programs, that suit everybody.
Okay.
I think another benefit, for the media is sort of a mirror, okay, for the community. Because, summer programs, trying to highlight some of the problems, some of the issues that concern people.
Okay.
And sometimes even, in terms of, point of views, people through certain programs, they tend to interact, okay, meet with people who are in charge and try to talk about, what's happening in their lives. And then through this, they can find, a lot of solutions, for their problems.
Especially the live programs that audience get to call and ask questions and get involved in the discussions. I think that is very, very good.
Yeah, it is very.
It's very clear that media is impacting our life. To what extent do you agree with this statement?
Well, it's absolutely correct. I will tell you something. Now, media is almost in everybody's house, okay? And that
In any
means-
form.
In any form.
Okay.
Okay, so we cannot escape, from media. So it's in your house, it is in my house, in everybody's house. Okay, and of course, this will affect our life. Now we should talk about the two types of impacts, okay, of media on our lives.
Okay.
The first one is the positive one. Let's start with the positive one. And of course, there's another aspect or another side of media, which is the negative one. So let's first of all talk about the positive effects of media. First of all, media is becoming a source of knowledge. Okay, spreading awareness, education, any source of education, any source of knowledge, okay, can be found in the media tools.
Okay.
Okay, so this is one important aspect.
So it's a learning tool.
Exactly, especially now when we talk about websites, okay, that promote or provide information about certain fields. Now you can just Google something and you find plenty, millions of websites talking about that particular topic. So it's a very huge source of knowledge.
Okay.
So this is the first positive effect of media.
Media.
The other aspect is, it's a very good chance, for people to exchange ideas. Now we have those, chatting, programs.
Chat rooms.
Yes. And it's a very good chance, for people to educate others about their cultures, about their, views, how they think about their countries and so on. So it's a very crucial tool that gives us the chance to educate people about ourselves, and get to know about, what.
And at the same time, you get to meet people with the same interest that you have. You would have a unified chat room that would have people from around the world discussing a issue which is important to them.
Exactly. Like if you have an interest, let's say in medicine, you'll go to those people who are interested in medicine, and then they will talk about, the shared interest, which is medicine, or the shared topics or ideas that, they love to talk about. So it's something just unbelievable, to find nowadays. And the other thing is, media is playing another crucial role in terms of changing, values, beliefs, okay, attitudes. And this could be a positive one, okay, because sometimes, we can learn from other people through the media. We can learn, good behaviors. We can learn, good manners, okay, through the use of media. So media is playing a role in that, okay, in changing, our mentalities. Sometimes this change could be a positive one, and we're talking about the positive change or impact of media, of our values or our traditions and so on. Because sometimes, we can learn from other cultures some new things which could be beneficial. Okay, and that could be done through media. And also sometimes, from our side, if we want to convey something good, to other people from other cultures, then this is also another chance, where you can convey those messages or these principles that we have to other people who are from different cultures.
Okay.
So it's a two-way ticket, if you want to call it, deal. I guess these are, some. Maybe also another benefit of or another positive impact of media is that media is becoming is creating or is making our world as a smaller village. Okay, now we used to travel a lot in order to find a little about what's happening in a neighboring country. Now with the use of media, you can learn a lot. And you can travel in seconds, to know what's happening in the world. Okay, so the world is becoming a small village. Okay, because
and you can actually be in any part of the world.
Yes.
Let's say, for example, for the webcams, So people could see you around the world,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
It's amazing, you know.
I think if this technology was there 100 years ago, people would have thought that it is sorcery or black magic.
Exactly. I mean, it is magic, to tell you the truth, in a metaphorical, you know, form, because you know, like it's amazing. You know, you can talk to people, you know, at the end of the world, okay, like in a few seconds, actually in moments, okay, and I for me, I think it's magic. You know, it's the way we get to know about what's happening, you know, in different parts of the world. Just like that, it's something, I would say it's magic, you know, it's really magic. Yeah.
Now let's go to the negative side of the media,
Yeah.
the negative impact on our lives.
Well, media, you know, we were talking about, you know, the positive side of media. There is also the negative side of media, and we have to really focus on this. Yes, it's true that, you know, media is playing a very crucial role in our life positively, but at the same time we have a lot of problems, you know, resulting from media. First of all, you know, now we have a lot of famous people, celebrities and so on, and because of that, you know, we have new generation, okay, imitating these people, okay, blindly, as I call it, you know, blind imitation.
Okay.
Because, you know, media sometimes in some channels, you know, put these people as role models, okay, and they try to promote, you know, for them, and as a result of that, we are having, you know, a lot of bad behaviors, you know, coming to our communities, and a lot of negative attitudes, okay, that we are, you know, having in our life, and this is, you know, one of the positive, the negative
aspects,
effects, okay, of media. Another aspect is the health, you know, aspect, you know. Now,
Okay,
which
tell
could
us
be
more
linked
about
in,
that. Yeah, this is interesting.
yeah, or the physical, you know, impact of media. You know, like if we talk about, you know, health, we can talk about, you know, food, and we can talk about, you know, the body.
Okay.
Now, with the media, okay, we started to get accustomed to certain types of food, okay, which could be not healthy. Okay, so the media
because of
is
the promotion of
exactly
that
advertisement
type of food,
that we have, and the ads that we have everywhere. Sometimes, you know, the movies, you know, programs, they tend to promote for certain types of food, okay, so that people, whenever they watch, you know, these food over and over again and again, they try to to take that kind of food, because, you know, it's always on the media, it's always on the TV, it's always on the newspaper. So that is, you know, one aspect, you know, it's affecting our food habits, even the way we eat, you know. Sometimes, you know, we watch people, you know, eating in a certain way, okay, that also another aspect, you know, from the food, you know, category. The other aspect, you know, of this effect is the body. Okay, now we have the term couch potato,
okay,
where people spend, you know, hours, actually sometimes, I don't know, days maybe, okay, watching TV without moving, so they don't exercise, okay. They always, you know, sit in front of the TV, and they gain weight. And
obesity.
Exactly. We have a problem.
So in the past, people, you know, had more outdoor activities, more than now.
Yeah. The thing is that now with a lot of programs, you know, those entertaining programs that we have, you feel that, you know, you want to stay at home and never leave the house, because they try to attract you, okay, to watch these programs. Okay, so you move from one interesting program to another interesting program. And people who cannot control it, they will end up, you know, being overweight and having a lot of problems. And I was watching, you know, a program, you know, a long time ago, and, you know, like people are really, you know, even they couldn't, you know, move them, you know, from their houses, you know, they couldn't get it, you know, out of the door, you know, because they were sick and they want to take them to the hospital, so they had to damage, you know, the wall. Okay, to get,
enable,
you know,
them to get to
that
get them
person
to the hospital.
You see, it's a bigger problem. Okay, Now, because of that, because we sit
For
at
long
home
hours.
for long hours, and we try to connect ourselves, to the media. What's happening is, then that will affect, our social relationships, which is, the third, impact of media. Now, because of media, and I'm not saying that all the time, but because of media, sometimes we try to disconnect ourselves, from people we know, friends, family members. We spend hours and hours, talking and watching and following, what's happening in the media, and we don't, tend to
Socialize.
Socialize, exactly the term. So we have a problem with that. Okay, now. Instead of visiting, what we tend to do in the past, it was what? You go, you visit your family, okay? And you talk to your family, and so you spend, hours with them. Nowadays, with the
You
media,
text them only.
you text them, okay? You can even talk to them through chatting, nowadays. You feel that, you don't even have to go and see them and talk to them and spend some time with them. So the relations are
Surprisingly, you would find two people living the same house and they talk on the phone.
Exactly.
They don't get to see each other.
Well, I mean, I remember, I was in America for some time, okay, and my roommate, used to text me, and we were sitting in the same place, and even, like we were lazy to talk to each other, so we were just, texting each other, saying, what's the plan for tonight? We were thinking about it, we're laying, on our beds, and we thought that maybe we have to do something in the evening. So we started texting each other instead of, coming to the living room. And we could have, talked, and moved our bodies, a little bit. But, we were just texting each other. You say it's that dangerous, to that extent. And
so are there any other negative aspects of the media? What about values?
Exactly.
Do people lose their values when it comes to media?
Which is could be connected to the social, thing. Okay. Yes, sometimes because of the media, some media channels promote for certain ideas. Okay, they have sometimes hidden agenda to promote for certain ideas, and they try to create a lot of role models, for our generation or our kids, and so that the children or the people will try to follow these people. And because of that, we tend to lose a lot of our values. Okay,
And culture as well,
culture,
religion.
exactly, and because of the media. Okay, so this is one of the dangerous things could happen to a nation or to a country, where people start to lose their identity. And we can see it in our lives nowadays. People are losing their identity because of media.
What about shifting the focus on the most important things in life and shifting it to something else which is less important?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because
with
now,
you.
let's say the new generation, they spend a lot of time in front of TV watching movies or listening to the music instead of, let's say, seeking knowledge.
Yeah, it's one of the problems that we have now. Now we have two problems here. First of all, the first problem is the awareness problem, that we don't have it.
Okay.
And the other thing is the attitude that we have. Okay. And so people are not aware of the importance of knowledge or the importance of things, presented to them, okay, through media. So they are not aware, they don't have the filtering process. They don't have the ability to to filter things, to decide what is good and what is bad, from them. And the other thing is, we don't have what we call it censorship, where parents or people who are in charge should also monitor what's happening, in their houses or what's happening in their places. Okay. So this is also another problem that we might face in the future. And then we will definitely lose our identity, our values, our principles. And, sometimes, we will lose, a lot of crucial things, happening in the world.
Now, Ahmed, what are the ways for us to understand other cultures better through the use of media?
Yeah, if
I'm
you're
sure. I'm sure we could learn a lot from other cultures, but what are the best ways to learn or understand other cultures?
yeah, I just wanted to add, one negative, aspect, to the
Okay.
list that we were talking about.
Mm.
Okay, which is the psychological effect.
Aspect, mm.
Okay, now because of media, we started to have a lot of problems, psychological problems in our community, because sometimes some programs promote wrong ideas, or promote some of the let's say some of the negative ideas, which could affect our psychology and our mentality. And that would be a problem for the people, because they tend to feel frustrated, disappointed, and they present a lot of ideas that we don't believe in, and they become part of our daily life, and we have to sometimes people, because of that, they commit suicide. Okay, they just feel uncomfortable with the type of life they are having, and they might kill themselves as a result of that. Let's have a look at some of the programs that we have here. Violent programs. Okay, we have a lot of crime shown on the media,
All types of crimes.
Exactly. So that would create sort of a programming process in some people's mind, and they will feel depressed, and they might do something wrong, and that might harm them. And this is also another aspect that we have to consider when we talk about media.
Okay. Now let's go back to our question, which is how do we understand other cultures better through the use of media?
Yeah. Now the thing is, when we talk about media is sort of what we call it, a two-edged, weapon. Okay, which means it always has a positive and a negative side. And talking about this, or talking about your question, sometimes some people misuse the tools of media to promote certain ideas or ideologies to people. Now for us, in order to really promote, let's say talk about the situation here in Oman or in the Islamic world, there was a lot of problem happening, and issues raised because of misunderstanding between the cultures. So I guess we need to really educate people about the real we, or the real us, and through the use of media. We need to use every single tool to promote our values, our principles, and so that people understand who we are, and they tend to. This could be in different forms. We can make use of radio, we can make use of television, we can make use of websites. All the tools, of media could be utilized, to promote such a thing. Let's, try to have, more programs, that educate us about what's happening. And also what we should do is that we should also do the same thing. We should have programs that, educate people about us.
So we should understand the other, and others should understand us at the same time.
Exactly.
We would know how to react in the best way if we understand others' cultures as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely important, that I was talking to you, a long time ago, and you were telling me about, that in some cultures, let's talk about the Japanese culture. They tend to have sort of programs, for people to learn or to have, so that they can They can know about the culture they are going to. We could do the same thing, here. We can make use of the media tools to promote such a thing. We need to understand those cultures through the use of media.
Okay. Ahmed will be right back after the break. Welcome back, Ahmed.
Hatem, if you just allow me to elaborate on one of the points that we were talking about.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's regarding the types of programs we're getting nowadays and how they're impacting our new generation. And one of the things that we usually talk about is pornography, as becoming, a big problem, for the new generation. It's very easy to be obtained through the different uses of or different tools of media. If you just, use Google, for example, and type something like that, you find plenty of websites, promoting for that thing. Let's talk about, for example.
But Ahmed, before you continue, why would pornography be a problem for our culture?
Well, first of all, that it will
just so that our audience understand.
Yeah, first of all, we don't want to have a generation which is sexually oriented. First of all, where the focus is only on sex. We want people who could be critical thinkers, who could give to the world. Okay, so if the focus is only dedicated for such a thing, then we might lose, first of all, our identity, and number two is we're going to degrade our community. Let's talk about one example. Women, for example. Now, women are degraded a lot, because of media. Okay, they are becoming very cheap. It's very easy, like if you just Google something or YouTube it, okay, and you write only woman. Look at the way they present women these days. I'm not talking about all the channels or all the ways of communications or media, but it's the majority now, and it's becoming a big problem for us. Instead of having a generation
that respects women, values women,
they degrade them in a way. And women are considered to be nothing in our society, where in our religion and of course in other religions, okay, women are always respected. They are they are mothers, sisters, and so on. And if you don't take care of them, then there will be a problem. They will not feel secure, and they will feel that they are cheap, and we don't want to get to that level of dishonoring women.
So what you're trying to say is learning about other cultures is good.
Yes,
but we should be careful and try and filter what we can learn and what we can leave out of this
exactly
culture.
Yeah. And the other thing is that since we were talking about better ways to make people understand, or to make us understand others, okay, now I think we should promote those kind of programs, okay, where they always misconception about something or about a religion or about way of life. Let's talk about the way people look at women in Islam. There are always that kind of misconception that women are not respected, and they are always controlled, and they don't have a freedom and so on. And I think it's a very good chance for women nowadays, to, especially from our Muslim communities, to have those kind of programs,
to speak out
and tell people the real Muslim woman, okay, and that they are not degraded, okay. And here I have to emphasize one thing. We have to make a clear distinction between a society and religion.
You mean culture and religion?
Exactly. Now, maybe there's a society that believes in a certain religion, okay, but maybe they don't follow the teaching or the principle of that religion.
Okay.
So why do we have to blame the religion for mistakes, made by certain members of the society? So, and I think, women should, stand up, okay, and speak up, about these, issues, and even the other issues that we have a problem.
That's why we have one episode on our show, Ahmed, inshallah, in the coming days, about honoring women in Islam, and my guest is going to be one of the leading women in society, so she can talk about this topic. Inshallah, it would be interesting.
That would be very interesting, to have a lady, to talk about that issue, yeah.
Now let's go to our next point, Ahmed. Some of us react negatively to whatever is presented to the media and end up being violent. So what do you think is the right approach to deal with such situations, especially as a Muslim?
Well, yeah. First of all, you cannot control what is shown on the media. Okay, this is something that we have to understand. We have to agree. We cannot control every single thing happening in the world. Okay, so we should not get emotionally oriented whenever we see something. We have to use logic. Okay, we have to be sensible in the way we react to different news events happening in the world. We have to use all the possible logical ways that could lead to a better dialogue. Okay, where people can understand each other, and which will lead us again to the same idea, which we need to have better ways to understand other cultures. And I think when we activate this role of media through dialogue, then we'll be able to tell people the real us, and we will know also who these people are. So I don't think that we should get emotionally oriented. Okay, when we have those kind of stories or events happening in the world, we should actually do something instead of just crying, or instead of getting emotional. Okay, so instead of doing that, maybe we should get the right sources that educate us about what's happening in that part of the world.
So not everything what comes on media is true or not true.
Yeah, I mean,
so you should investigate more and find out more about anything that comes on the media.
And this is one of the teachings of Islam, that whenever there is something let's say wrong or not true, okay, usually if something wrong or something which is bad, we are asked to investigate before we react or judge or do anything else. Okay, we have to make sure that this is the right piece of news that we're talking about. So it's a very good thing that we should investigate. We should verify things before sending judgment or reacting in a negative way, which absolutely will give a bad image about the community, about the religion, and so on. So we don't want to get to that level. Okay, we have to be logical in our way of thinking and trying to verify things before we judge things.
Ahmed, we as an Islamic nation have benefited a lot from media. Can you please tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, if you want to talk about this, let's have a very short comparison about what was the situation
in the past,
and what we are having now. Now, in the past, we were sort of isolated, from the world, from other parts of the world. But now, with the different tools of media, we are known to the world. Okay, there are a lot of programs, channels, radio stations, websites. It is very easy, now to Google or YouTube, or just
any sort of information is available.
Yes, available in any form. So we Muslims, or the Islamic society has really benefited, tremendously from this tool or this thing, which is media. And actually, what we should do, we should also try to advance this, and try to have a lot of programs and ways where we can reach almost everywhere, so that there will be a better understanding, and there will not be any misconceptions and misunderstanding between different cultures. And I think we have learned a lot. We have benefited a lot, from the use of media, and I wish that we could have more programs that promote and that encourage people to know more about Islam. And I think it's a very amazing tool that we should really make use of.
Okay, Ahmed, finally, how can we minimize the negative impact of media on our kids?
Well, it's becoming a very difficult thing, to tell you the truth, okay? But I think, we have to be more responsible, okay, to
As parents.
as brothers, sisters, okay, to what help each other, okay, to filter, things, to decide what is good and what is bad, okay, because these people are very important to us. We love them. And part of our responsibility is to care for whatever they learn, they see, they watch, okay, they listen to. So we have to have a responsibility, we have to have a conscious, okay, first of all, that we have to protect them, okay. From all, the ongoing, the ongoing, programs that we're having that promote, wrong ideas, okay, negative values, okay. It's a very important thing that we have to consider in our life, and we have to give it a second thought. We have to find ways, either through censorship, through, dialogue, maybe we can talk to our kids.
Talk to our kids more often.
Exactly. And we try to just, have a dialogue, and tell them why you believe so. Why
and maybe get to know their friends, get to know what type of music they listen to, what type of programs they watch.
So that they feel that they are having the ownership of choosing what is good and what is bad. Okay, but we have to have that dialogue instead of just commanding or lecturing, whatever, because sometimes this might not work. We have to try
especially with the new generation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They question everything.
Yeah.
And if you don't give them that attention
and the right answers,
they might find another source, which means we're losing them. We have to be the first reliable source for them whenever they need an answer regarding media or any aspect, other aspects of life.
Ahmed, we don't know how to thank you for this wonderful session. I'm sure it wasn't easy, and it's a very sensitive topic, but I'm sure overall our audience or listeners have benefited and got some tips on how to deal with media. This is Hatim Al Absalam signing off for today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.